When you're standing in front of a shelf of high-end gaming rigs and wondering whether any of them are really worth the price tag, that hesitation can feel like a deal-breaker. I've spent the last few weeks digging into the MSI Aegis 10TH 061US, because the kind of decision you make with a machine like this can affect how you game, stream, and even work for the next few years. If you're looking for a factual, no-fluff perspective on whether this tower lives up to its headline-grabbing specs, stay tuned. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most potential buyers ask is, do I really need this much power? The Aegis RS pairs an Intel Core i7-10700K with an RTX 3090, which places it in the upper echelon of 2020-era desktops. In practice, this means you can push 4K gaming at ultra settings on titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or Horizon Forbidden West without hitting a ceiling, and you'll still have enough headroom for the demanding physics of a modern ray-traced workload. If your day-to-day includes an 8-hour live stream where you're running OBS, a high-refresh monitor, and a couple of background applications, the extra CPU cores and the massive GPU memory really shine. The system doesn't just sit idle while you render, it consistently delivers frame rates that keep the experience buttery smooth, which translates directly into a better viewer experience and less strain on your encoder. On the storage side, the combo of a 1TB NVMe SSD and a 2TB HDD is a pragmatic compromise. The SSD handles the OS, games, and any media you edit, providing near-instant load times. I ran a few games that traditionally take 3,040 seconds to load on a SATA drive, and they dropped to under 10 seconds on this rig. The 2TB HDD acts as a safety net for large asset libraries. Think 4K video footage, texture packs, or a collection of older titles you don't play daily. The dual drive setup eliminates the need for external enclosures, which is a quality of life boost for streamers who often juggle multiple storage devices. One of the less talked about aspects is the cooling system. MSI equipped the Aegis RS with a liquid cooling loop that is both quiet and effective. In my testing, the CPU temperature hovered around 55 C under a full tilt gaming session, while the GPU stayed comfortably below 70 C even when pushed to its limits. What this means for you is less fan noise while recording, and a longer lifespan for the internals because heat isn't constantly gnawing at the components. The downside, however, is that the liquid cooler adds a modest maintenance consideration. If you're not comfortable with the idea of checking coolant levels or swapping out the radiator in a few years, you might prefer a more conventional air-cooled chassis. Now, let's talk about who this machine actually serves. The sweet spot is definitely the enthusiast gamer, who also streams or creates content. If you're a competitive player, who values high refresh rates, say 144 Hz or more, and you plan to dabble in VR, the RTX 3090 gives you headroom for high-resolution textures, and the extra VR AM needed for future-proofing. The built-in Wi-Fi 6 also removes the need for a separate network card, which simplifies cable management if you're running a tidy streaming setup. For graphic designers or video editors who use Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, the 16 GB of DDR4 RAM is a comfortable starting point, and the board supports upgrades up to 128 GB, meaning you can scale the system as your workload grows. On the flip side, the Aegis RS isn't the right choice for a casual gamer who just wants to play a few titles at 1080p. The cost of this configuration is steep, and you'll be paying for performance you'll rarely tap. If you don't intend to stream, or if you're already satisfied with a mid-range card like the RTX 3060 Ti, you could stretch your budget further by opting for a smaller GPU, which would also reduce power consumption and heat output. Another group that should think twice are those who prioritize a silent office environment. Although the liquid cooler is quieter than many air solutions, the RTX 3090's fans still kick in under heavy load, and the system's overall power draw can cause the PSU fans to spin up noticeably. Practical strengths beyond the headline specs include the robust connectivity stack. The inclusion of Wi-Fi 6 gives you up to 2.4 gigabits per second throughput, which is handy if your Ethernet cable isn't within reach of your router. Additionally, the motherboard hosts a USB-C port, making it easier to connect modern peripherals. Think fast external SSDs, or a new generation of controllers without needing an adapter. The 2.5 GBE Ethernet port is a nice bonus for those who have a high-speed LAN, ensuring you won't bottleneck your download or upload speeds when transferring large game files or streaming high-quality video. A hidden trade-off lies in the power requirements. The RTX 3090 paired with an overclock-capable i7-10700K pushes the system's power envelope past 600W under sustained load. This means you'll need an 850W or larger PSU to run comfortably, and the PSU itself emits audible fan noise during extended sessions. It also translates to higher electricity usage.